What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. We have got game number 2 here between Nerchio and GoOdy. This time we're on Shattered Temple. GoOdy spawning in the 6 o'clock position as our purple Terran player, and here in the 9 o'clock we do have our red Zerg player, Nerchio. Now, Nerchio did win last game, even after dealing with some heavy losses, lots of forced canceled bases, some pretty interesting play from GoOdy, opening up with that quick Reaper, moving into a pretty heavy Banshee play, and then just switching on over into a mech style play with some Thors, Infernal Predator Hellions, and of course some siege tanks. But unfortunately, dealing with some massive fungal growths on a huge Viking cloud that GoOdy had to deal with the Broodlords of Nerchio. Some very nice placed fungal growths forced those Vikings, well, to get dropped from the sky pretty quickly, and that is actually what forced GoOdy to just call the GG. It was that was a pretty devastating loss, so really not much he could do at that point. He wouldn't have been able to deal with those Broodlords. He did have some Thors in play, but Thors pretty terrible against Broodlords, in all honesty. Not the greatest. So yeah, here we go. We can't see right now. Nerchio actually has scouted out where GoOdy is, moving just enough to get just enough vision to spot that command center, then pulling back. And let's take a look. Where's that Overlord going? Looks like he will be chilling right back here by that expansion, and with this he'll be able to move in for secondary scouting into the main, or just poke over a little bit to spot that expansion. In fact, I think in this position he'll be close enough to check those minerals to see if any mining is going on right over here. We can see, of course, knowing where GoOdy is, Nerchio moving out with that drone scout. Also looks like he will be going expansion first this game, much as he did last game, and then following that up with pool extractor. Let's keep an eye on what GoOdy is going for. Last game we saw a very fast tech lab. Looks like the same thing will be taking place here. GoOdy loving the opening of that Reaper. Now the drone scout staying there and just denying this momentarily. Now we will be seeing a Marine come out for GoOdy just to deal with this. And there we go, finally pulling back with that drone. Does he let the Marine finish? Yes, he will let the Marine finish. So this will be delaying his opening Reaper, but really not the biggest of deals. Trying to put that Marine on the other side. Will he be able to micro and kill that worker? Looks like he might. There we go. Drone gets dropped, and here comes a little bit of aggression. Actually, GoOdy, I'm really assuming that he did want to open up with that Reaper, but the fact that it was delayed, pretty much he said screw it, and coming down with that factory right now instead. So he does have an option to actually move into some Hellion style play, so would really like to see him do that. You can see him moving that barracks there. It looks like we'll be seeing a depot placement right here as well. Back over here, we can see SCV Scout moving around, just checking the timing of that expansion and seeing the fact that that is just about finished. He should know that Nerchio did go for that, I believe it was either 14 or 15 hatch. I wasn't paying attention. No big deal, though. Factory getting close to complete. 2 Marines. Here comes a third as well. A little bit of supply block, but that will be alleviated in just one moment. Here's that Overlord, and yeah, he can't see that. So right now, Nerchio will be sitting pretty comfortably in this position. Again, looks like I believe the Overlord is slated to push to right over there. Back over here, can we see Hellions? Yes, we are going to see Hellion Marine. Probably going to be seeing a Hellion Marine push with maybe 1 or 2 SCVs. This can be very effective. We do notice a severe lack of attachments, but with this possible opening Hellion Marine push that we may be seeing, in fact, he may even be trying to do the drop variant. We can see the Star Part coming out, dropping in the main with some even unupgraded Marines and Hellions, dropping right inside the main, bypassing any spine crawlers like we're seeing Nerchio place right here. Can be so very effective. So here we go, moving out right now with that first Hellion, grabbing the tower, trying to get a good idea of what's going on. We'll be moving forward and poking at the front of Nerchio's base. Probably won't be moving in to try to do damage, given that Queen and 1 Hellion. It takes forever to try to target fire down and kill some workers, but he will be moving in anyways, trying to do a little bit of damage, and there we go, pulling the drone back, forcing to engage with that Queen, and the Hellion does want to push away. Hellion, go back home, please. There you go. That-a boy. Back over here, taking a look in GoOdy's base. Yes, the drop is coming. So what is likely to happen is we're going to be seeing GoOdy move his units probably somewhere around here, then lifting up those Hellions, dropping them in the main, lifting up those Marines, dropping them in the main. And this can be a very effective tactic. I really like the fact that GoOdy decided to do this. Again, what looked to be his Reaper opening, as we saw last game, was just switched around because of the harassment that he dealt with. And obviously something I speak to very often in the strategy videos, as well as commentary and any of the lessons that I give, is that you of course always have to react to what your opponents do and respond accordingly. So here comes a drop right now, finishing up one more Hellion as well, so he will have 4 Hellions, and looks like a full medevac of Marines. Needs to be careful, though, if he moves past that Overlord, that spotting early is going to give Nerchio the time he needs to deal with this, and here we go. He will be seeing this right now. GoOdy moving down, dropping first those Marines up on the high ground, then he will be picking up those Hellions, and how will Nerchio deal with this? He's got a lot of Zerglings parked in the back, ready to engage. We do have a switch to Banshees coming from GoOdy as well, so GoOdy not getting ready to expand, but here comes the aggression right now. Hellions moving forward and getting surrounded by those Zerglings. Queens moving forward as well. Very nice response there. Still will do a lot of damage, but GoOdy getting everything mopped up. Great surround, pushing forward with those Queens as well. That was pretty much perfect. Obviously, Nerchio lost almost all of his Zerglings there, just 3 remaining, but still, the fact that he managed to stop that drop from doing any damage, and he killed off that medevac as well, well, GoOdy's really behind. Now, we do see that cloak research coming out right now. Nerchio moving out to do 2 things. Check if there was an expansion, but then also try to do a little bit of damage. This is a great opportunity for Nerchio right now. Now, the Cloak Banshee is making its way on through. It will still be quite a while till that Cloak Research finishes. The first Banshee coming out right now. No Banshees in play yet. SCV is forced to push down. There are too many Marines and not enough... too many Zerglings and not enough Marines and Hellions here for GoOdy. So taking quite a while, losing resources as well, having to repair those depots. That, of course, is quite unfortunate. GoOdy dropping that expansion. He really has to. If he doesn't get up an expansion, he will just be way too far behind. I almost expect Nerchio to move his way into a 3rd as well. Now, a couple of spores coming down. Wow, lots of spores coming down, expecting to deal with those Banshees again. He knew Banshees came out last game. The fact that there are so many spores, those Banshees aren't going to be doing a lot of damage. He has a little bit of room here. I think if he keeps his Banshees in this position, he could actually snipe that pool, so that could be effective. What else? Do we have anything else that's vulnerable over here? Not really. He can sit the Banshees over here to do a little bit of damage, but if he gets too close to either of those spores, he will be detected, and then those Queens will be dropping him out of the sky. 2 Banshees in play right now. 3rd Banshee coming on out in just 1 moment. Besides that, just a couple of Marines and Hellions. That expansion still not complete, and here we go. Yes, we will be seeing Nerchio move into this 3rd, and actually looks like GoOdy, before trying to engage the main base, will just be trying to do a little bit of damage and get a little bit of map control. Try to kill off any Zerglings that may be straddling about, and here we go. Queens pushing forward, and lots of damage to those Banshees. 4 Queens will snipe a Banshee out of the sky very quickly. Hellion back in the middle of the map to get some scouting done. Nice creep spread taking place here from Nerchio. Obviously something we want to see here. Here's that expansion finally right now. GoOdy will be moving down. Now, the major concern is that he is pretty lacking in terms of units. Yes, he does have 3 Banshees. Yes, he's got a Raven coming out. Some cloak detection, being able to drop down these creep tumors. Also deal with possible burrowed roaches, but overall, not a big army, and in fact, if we saw Nerchio push out with a strong force, he could quite easily mop up this expansion, and that, of course, is the major concern. Here is an Overseer, though, so we'll probably be seeing a Changeling getting dropped in the main. Is that what's going to happen? Or just scouting out? We'll just be using the speed of that Overseer to scout. Now, we do have a couple Marines trying to engage, but I think that Overseer should make it safely home. We don't have any stim pack, and it's not researching either, so it looks like GoOdy will be going mech heavy again. Here comes that push that I said could be very dangerous. Nerchio moving out with a lot of Zerglings. We have a tank on the high ground. Siege mode isn't finished yet, though, so Zerglings walking on in without taking any splash damage. We'll be going straight to that resource line, so GoOdy forced to stop mining here. Tank finally up. Siege mode is ready, but not sieging those yet. Just using that normal DPS. Now, just a couple of Zerglings here doing a little bit of damage, sniping off a few of those workers. Banshees moving down to deal with those Zerglings, forcing them to retreat back to the main base. Don't really want to take those unnecessary losses, but GoOdy forced to stop mining, even if it was temporarily. That's pretty devastating. That's a lot of no mining time moving from one base to the other. So very nice play there by Nerchio. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And look at this, GoOdy coming out with the hidden expansion. So sneaky. Let's see if he's able to get this up and running. Right now, Nerchio has no idea about this. The real advantage of going for something like this, as vulnerable as it is it's pretty much the last spot that the Zerg player is going to scout. His 3rd is likely to be here or at the high yield, and then moving into his 4th later, but it'll be a while until he tries to come down with this 5th expansion. So you can see even now, he's ready to drop that 4th, but still nowhere near that 5th expansion. So GoOdy may actually get this up and running and saturated. So very nice play there by GoOdy. Of course, he is concerned about that possible switch into mutas, and that's part of the reason why he's maybe not moving into here. here because it would be a little bit vulnerable at this point in time. He is just overall lacking in terms of army size, and really in a tough spot right now. Coming out with some Thors just in case as well. If those mutas hit the board, he will need these to contend with that. Obviously, though, we can see Nerchio not coming out with any mutas at all. Looks like he is going Roach, Zergling, and Fester. You can see the Pathogen Glance coming out. Level 2 upgrades for those melee Zerglings, of course, as well. There is Creep in your base. Look at that. Nerchio extending those Creep Tumors into the main base of GoOdy. GoOdy just moving over with that Raven, getting that detection, and actually he's going to snipe down a few of these tumors as well. Nerchio just kind of goofing off there. Really surprised. I mean, he could have kept continuously spreading that creep across the middle of the map, someplace a little bit less vulnerable, but that does get sniped very quickly from that easy Thor and Raven combination. I don't know why that's, I don't know what I'm talking about. Back over here, we can see Zerglings and Roaches pushing forward and getting into what should be the third expansion of GoOdy, but Nerchio, as he is soon to find out, no expansion quite yet. So right now, in his mind, he is thinking, there's either a hidden expansion or he's going for a strong 2-base push. So he could be concerned preparing for that 2-base push. Otherwise, he should know that he's in a pretty good spot. But again, here's that hidden expansion. Banshee's trying to move down to get a little bit of an engagement, but did lose one Banshee as a result within that cloak detection range of the Spore Crawler. Queen's moving forward. They were able to snipe that down. There we go. Finally, GoOdy getting ready to move into his fourth. Still, the base is undetected, using a lot of mules over here as well, trying to mine out as much of this as possible. One big advantage to doing something like this as well is that if the game does extend into the very late game where both players are mining from their complete half of the map, well, GoOdy will have depleted some of these resources here, so Nerchio will be lacking the total amount of available resources that GoOdy will have. And here we go, destroying these back rocks, getting ready to push forward and to engage, and he could actually do a bit of damage, not a lot, and a little bit spread out in terms of his army right now. Banshee's moving forward, though. We'll be taking care of a few of these Zerglings and Roaches. Do we have an Overseer coming across? No, we do not. Here comes the Speedling, trying to check that unit composition and what GoOdy had. Unfortunately, walking into some siege fire. The Roaches getting dropped very quickly. How are these Banshees doing? 7 and 8 kills, 9 kills respectively. And again, look at, so yeah, really cool. The hidden expansion and taking some of the resources from your opponent's half of the map. A very nice play, and GoOdy looks like he's still getting away with this, so more power to him. Banshee moving across the center of the map. A couple Spore Crawlers moving down, trying to burrow those. And here we go. And Fester's dropping the Fungal Growth and allowing that Spore Crawler to finish. And another Fungal Growth again. And those Banshees, looks like they do get taken out. Spore Crawler with the final killing blow. 8 HP left. Very nice. Now Nerchio does have control of that center of the map. I do not believe there are any more Banshees. No, there are not. So right now, Marine, Tank, Thor, a Raven, and Hellion. And what do we have for Nerchio? Looks like Roach Heavy, Corruptors, some Infestors, Queens, obviously Queens, Back over here, Nerchio, does he have any sort of transition? Yes, we are going to be seeing those Broodlords, the Grey Spire coming out right now. Also, the Neuroparasite getting research here. A ton of Corruptors, so getting ready to move into those Broodlords. There's a couple of Roaches moving down, and spotting that he is going to be going for this expansion right now. So GoOdy getting ready to try to push his expansion into that high yield position. There we go. We'll be moving the orbital over there, and then here's another expansion getting ready to move over in this position. Nerchio will be scouting that out, though. With that scouting Zergling, we'll have a clear idea of the fact that GoOdy is trying to move into what will be his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th expansion there. Nerchio right now getting ready to try to move into his 6th as well, but nope, gonna walk into something a little funky. He's saying, what is going on? Bad manners, Nerchio says. So now, of course, that Nerchio has scouted this, he will have no problem taking it out. Actually dropping the hatchery over here will be forcing that lift off. I expect him, of course, to cancel this hatchery and then just try to build another one right here and get a second hatchery. But this orbital command will actually get away nice and safely, losing just those refineries and a couple of SCVs. And looks like he will be keeping this up, using it, of course, as just an in-base hatchery for those extra larvae. And he does have another hatchery moving closer to the mining resources there as well. Here come those Broodlords moving across the map. Lots of Speedlings and Roaches, couple Infestors thrown in the mix as well. GoOdy moving to the center to get ready to engage with this. Nerchio will be pushing very, very soon. Needs to be careful, though. Those Broodlords are a little bit scary, especially with those tanks sieged up, and this is not looking to be too good right now for GoOdy. GoOdy forcing that splash damage against his own tanks, pulling down right now with those Corruptors, trying to snipe that Viking, walking to a point defense drone, and the tanks killing off so many of his own units. And there we go. Look at that Seeker missile doing lots of damage there to the Broodlords. A couple of Vikings moving forward to engage as well. Bulkly Army, now that tanks are taken out, we'll be able to move down, and GoOdy is looking to be in a little bit of trouble. He just does not have enough to deal with this massive force. Still a few Broodlords in play, and GoOdy looks like he is gone right now. He has got nothing to deal with this. Too many Speedlings, too many Roaches, some nice Neuroparasites on the Thors and tanks, and there is the GG from GoOdy. Alright guys, so hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Sorry for the lack of post-game recap. Again, I do expect to do that on most of my commentaries. I am just a little tight on time today. A pretty interesting game. Hopefully you have enjoyed the series between these two. Thank you so much for watching, and as always guys, keep watching and keep owning.